Welcome to Common Grounds, recorded inside the roasting room at the Coffee Roaster in Lincoln, Nebraska. In each episode, we sit down with people from Lincoln and beyond so you can get to know the fascinating individuals who help shape our community. Grab a cup and join us. We're glad you're here. You know, you can go to the ocean or you can go out to the mountains and just enjoy a beautiful view. But I don't know, this is probably judgmental, but after a while you kind of get tired of looking at the ocean waves or at the mountains. And especially when you want to raise a family and enjoy life, you want to be around people that you really get to know and enjoy. That's what our guest today has kind of suggested as I've gotten to know him. Andy Seiler is a guy that is originally from Texas.
Yeah, originally from Texas.
And came to Nebraska to go to the Union University and met a young lady here and now calls Lincoln home. And so, Andy, we're glad to have you
Thank
here.
You. Thanks for
I'm Randy Bretz, and this is Marilyn Moore. I always forget to introduce who we are.
People know.
And Marilyn and I just love talking to people about Lincoln. And so we invited Andy to join us. And the first thing we want to ask you, always tell our guests to bring their favorite coffee cup. And yours is kind of interesting. So tell us about that.
Sure.
cup.
So this coffee mug has a picture of Dave Grohl here framed on here, and it's I don't know if you can see it there, but I honestly I brought this one because it's maybe my current favorite. Honestly, when you said bring your favorite coffee mug, I had one that is no longer with me.
Sad.
It is sad when you lose a good coffee mug.
I've had that happen.
This one was gifted to me by one of my, I think it's my sister on Christmas, and it was a great gift. It was super fun. It's just a really nice mug. But I had this mug that was from REI, and it was this silver kind of thermos mug that had a silicone like top. And it was the perfect like fit in every cup tray, never like got hot. It never burned your lips when you drank from it. It was always just like the perfect mug and
Rest in peace.
it lives
What happened
somewhere.
to
I
it?
have no idea. It's in somebody's hands.
Oh.
I thought I lost it once and then I found it again and now it's gone.
So it's
gone.
lost.
It's lost. I think somebody else is enjoying it though. So it brings me comfort to know that
We'll
somebody
hope
else
that
So
that's
if
true.
you happen to be
like,
watching this and
you have Andy's
know about
mug.
that
Yeah,
cup,
if you have that mug, please. It was a
Look him
silver.
up.
I've looked
Look him
all
up.
over for it. It doesn't exist. I've like Googled it. I've uploaded pictures to Google, try and like be like, where's this mug? It just doesn't.
It
you
can't
know.
be replaced. There's
No.
there's none other one
Pictures
like
in
it.
I don't
Post
know.
office.
I don't know. I can't find
Okay.
one. Yeah. So
It was
I'll keep
like
looking.
a once in a
I
lifetime.
know. I don't
favorite
even know.
mug.
I feel like it would be out there somewhere, but
I have a number of favorite mugs, but I'm not here to talk about my favorite mugs. I want to know about you a little bit
Yeah, sure.
more. I said you came from Texas.
Yeah.
I know that much. And you to come here to go to Union University.
yeah.
And but what has kept you here?
Yeah, what's kept me here? Well, that's a good question. Cause I came up for college, right? And I didn't necessarily choose Lincoln. I was in that moment in life where I was like, what am I going to do in life? And where, like, you kind of have that existential crisis growing up when you're going to college. It's like, you have to make these giant decisions on how your life's going to, look and be. And so I had this thought of like, oh man, I want to do something that like saves. I want to do something really like impactful and like save people. So I was like, I'm going to be a search and rescue helicopter pilot is what I was like going to do. So I found this facility out in Tennessee that I was going to go to. We went out there. I took the physical, and then they came back being like, you're colorblind and you can't see, jack. So
It's a little hard.
So they're like,
Search
so
and
like, so
rescue.
yeah, so I was like, shoot. So then I think my dad was just like, well, there's other options, and I think I looked up some places, saw Union College. It was a week before college started. I took a trip up here, visited with a friend, met a lot of really nice people at the college, and then a week later I was here. I was going to college. So
Because they have a program, and it's not search and rescue, but it's
they have a
first
search and
responder.
rescue.
Yeah.
It was IRR.
Yeah.
I went into that for a second, and then it took me like a week to be like, this isn't for me. And it is for a lot of people. It's a really cool program, but it wasn't for me. So
But you were here.
I was here, went to Union College for a year, and then was still like, I don't know. So then I went, through Union College, they did, they had a program where you could go teach English overseas. So I went to Prague for a year.
Oh, wow.
Where'd you
taught
go?
English. The what?
You went where?
Prague,
You
Czech
went to
Republic.
Prague?
Yeah.
Cool.
which I'd never heard of. I didn't, until literally I was there, and so that was fun. And then back and yeah. So when I came back is when I heard that my now wife had broken up with her boyfriend, and I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Let's,
yeah.
Timing's everything.
Yeah. So
tell us about your wife then.
Yeah,
Since you've introduced her.
yeah, sure. She's from Nebraska. So she was born and raised here, and she was just going to Union College. She was a volleyball player, and I think just extremely beautiful. And I don't know. It was one of those where it's like, it's so funny because it's like, I know that every time when you're young and you're dating, you meet somebody, you're like, oh, this is the one, right? Oh, they're going to be you always think, but I just felt, man, when I met her, I was like, oh, I think I'm going to marry her. And I did.
So you did?
Yeah, I did. I married her. So I did.
So, Andy,
She also married me. She had to decide that.
I first got to know you when you were on a podcast that the Lincoln Chamber does.
Yeah.
And I was listening to you talk with Jason Vall about the videos that you produce.
Yeah.
And I went and looked at your videos. I'm a video producer, not nearly your category, but I'm a video producer. So that's what really drew me to what you're doing. So talk a little bit about how did you get from wanting to rescue people on helicopters and teaching English in Czechoslovakia to video production?
Yeah, so I think those two things were like sidetracks for me, right? Okay. It wasn't like that's what I wanted to do. That was like a moment in life where I was like, oh, I think I want to do something. Because I think as a kid, I was like, well, what am I going to do with video? Like, am I really going to make a difference? Can I really do this stuff? And so it kind of took some time to actually be like, oh, I can make a difference with this. But that was kind of a process to get there. But I've always done film. I've always been a part of it. My brother growing up would always put us in his like homemade movies and stuff. But I think I always like the story that I talk about, like the pivotal moment for me was my brother, he was a hopeless romantic, and he made this Valentine's video for his then girlfriend. And it was a really fun video, but then, back then, I don't know, the computer crashed and he lost the entire project, but he had all the raw files still. So he didn't have time because he had this whole thing planned to recut it. And so I sat down and I was like, let me give this a shot. So I sat down and I edited that video back to what I'll say is better than the original cut. But I think that was the moment where I really actually got into it, like seriously. I was like, this is really fun. And I really enjoyed this. And I found the thing that I love to do. And so I kind of just like, ever since that moment, I figured out there were ways to make money from it, whether it's like weddings or so all through high school, all through, some of college, I'd just be producing videos and getting paid. So yeah, that's kind of like what got me into the industry. And then when I moved back to Lincoln, I got a job at Outpost 12 Studios, which was an animation and video production company here in town. And they were in the Golds building, which is now the hotel. Is it a hall? I don't know.
It is.
It's Hilton, I think.
I don't know if it's, but they were up there, and I got a job there, and that was my first experience in like advertising and the commercial world and things like that. So like actual professional, video before that.
But you have an organization or I don't know what you call it. It's called the Good Life Network. Yeah. It's not an organization. It's not a film studio, but tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. So moving back from, cause we lived in Colorado for a little bit, and while we were in Colorado, I worked at a outdoor production company out there, and kind of got a lot of experience in outdoor television. And then they kind of morphed into other, still kind of outdoor world, but like DIY and home building. And then we worked on a lot of entertainment out there. And, when we moved back, I love this industry and I love doing this. And so coming back, it was, well, how can I bring my knowledge and what I'm doing and make it on the local level? I love telling stories. I love doing these films, but how can I do that where it's like kind of got the local flavor to it, right? And so as I looked around, I was kind of doing some research, and I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool to have this really like fun entertainment platform that's like similar to Netflix, but on a local level? Like, does that exist anywhere? And so I was trying to look around, and really I haven't found it really anywhere, a city or a place that's really focusing on entertainment. And I think it's so important because like these are people's stories, and everyone's talking about getting your story out. And like, I don't know, I think there's no better way than telling the story of just people. And I thought, wouldn't it be refreshing also to do it in a way that's not like with an advertisement at the end, you know, something that's like, cause we're always trying to be sold things. And so just like organically let us be us. And then I think people will see that from the outside. And so it took me a couple years because you know how it goes. You have an idea and then you're like, I don't think it's going to work, or maybe people are going to like it.
Well, you got to make a living.
Yeah, that is true. And that's still a thing. But there was a huge fear of just, are people going to like not like it? I think that was it's kind of vulnerable putting yourself out there like that. And then I just had I don't know if it's like a moment in time where I was like, okay, I'm ready to fail. And that was like I'm ready to like fail and move on from this idea, or maybe people would like it. Yeah. But I wasn't concerned about what people thought anymore. I just did it. And so, I felt like it hasn't been that long since we like launched, right? Maybe like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. You know, you have these like dreams and fantasies of it being like wildly successful day one. And then you really, you know, then you understand the realities of it all. So it's been a grind, but it's been one that I've loved doing, because every time we go out and we film somebody, it's just, I don't know, another person I get to know that's doing cool things in Nebraska. And I don't know, we're bringing something to small companies that otherwise I don't think would be able to have that otherwise, you know? Like if a small company approached us as a production company and said, hey, can we make this 20-minute long video about us? Like, it's going to be like, okay, well, that's, here's how much that's going to cost.
Yeah,
and so,
a lot.
But you know, what we're doing right now is we're just doing them for free. And
So how does it work? A company doesn't approach you and say, can you do this 20-minute video for us? So how do you find people and truly, how do you make it work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're trying to, I'm not going to say it's the honor system, because I don't know if that's really the best way to describe it. I'm just if somebody approaches us, I'm trying to be realistic with how much it would cost. Mm-hmm. So if somebody approaches me with something that they want, then I'll usually say, here's maybe what you could pay. If it's a small company and they're doing something really cool, we'll just do that for free, right? If they don't have the money. If it's a larger company that I know can pay for something, I say, hey, here's what we can offer. Here's what it would roughly cost. And then we just negotiate from there. But alternatively, if we go to a company, we typically, you know, if we see somebody doing something cool and we approach them, we're never asking for money. We're just trying to tell a cool story. So it's kind of like, I just play it by ear and see. And so we've had like some people support us. TMCO has been a big support, and they were our first episode in like how it's made. So we have a series like How It's Made Nebraska, and we're trying
that company fascinates me.
TMCO?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The way that they like bend metal and make
they
it like,
do.
yeah.
I mean, they make art out of it.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
It is beautiful.
And what really fascinates me is Roland's daughter, and now runs it.
Diane.
She is a practiced and well-trained violinist.
Well, she's a PhD.
Oh,
she's a PhD musician.
I know, it's so crazy.
She is
Music
running
fairs.
around with a hard hat on, watching these people cut and grind metal. And anyway,
it's so cool, like having kind of been involved with TMCO and now looking around when we drive around Lincoln, seeing all the metal that's around, and be like, oh, that's I know.
That's their work.
Yeah, that's their work. That's so it's really cool what they do for the community.
Well, there's one that I've seen that I really enjoyed. I'd ask you to talk about, and that's the bakery in Cortland, Nebraska.
Yeah.
What's it called? The
Paper Moon. Yeah, Paper Moon. Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
Yeah. So, talking about like how we get our stories, there's not really like a certain way. We honestly, I think a lot of times we just ask people like, hey, if you know a story, let us know. If you know somebody that's doing something really interesting, let us know. Sometimes it's online. We'll see somebody, but with that one specifically, I think Sean from Eleanor Creative and Lindsay, they're good friends. I didn't realize this. They were just out having coffee at the mill downtown. And Sean's like, hey, this is Lindsay. You should meet her. She has this really cool bakery. And then, I don't know, I just started looking her up, and she had a really cool following and really good following. And I was like, well, we should just check it out and talk. And so got her number, and then, I don't know, we just scheduled a day and then filmed. So like, honestly, I hadn't really hung out with Lindsay until I filmed her, and then we hung out for like 3 days straight. So it was, but finding that story was really fun, and learning and getting to know her through that was really exciting. I mean, she's so much more than just a bakery, right? Like, yeah. She's also a psychiatrist, which is also really interesting. And so, I don't know, but hearing her story and just, I don't know, keeping keeping a really unique bakery in a small town like Cortland too is really, I think, a unique.
Well, and she did part of it truly to build Cortland, to make it
a
cool place and a reason that people would come to Cortland.
Yeah, she lives there. She doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which I think that's fantastic. Yeah.
And so now that you've done that, and it lives on your website, and how many people see it or who sees it? How do people see what you do?
Yeah. So a lot of it, that's a good question. And we're still trying to figure out the best approaches on that. You know, sometimes anything that we do for free, we always put behind a paywall because we're just, we're not getting paid for it. So we're trying to figure out ways to do that. Sometimes we put them in front, sometimes without. Just, I don't know. It's how we're feeling, I guess. But we also post them all on social media. And so like our TikTok's done really well and which has been really encouraging. We're almost to 20,000 followers, which in TikTok terms is really pretty small because, that social media platform is all about like entertainment and pushing it to the For You page.
Well, and short form.
Yeah, short form. And we've been posting videos that are 5 minutes and more typically. Mm-hmm. And so I think like it's kind of it's a little bit of a rebellion towards social media because what we want people to stop and watch and not and really putting it on social media is not the best viewing experience, right? I mean, we have an app that you can download on Roku. So just like you would with Netflix, you're going to have it on your television. You can download it on your phones, everything. So it's really just like, right there, really accessible and just easy to watch. And so that's how you find it. You can watch it on our social media, which we also appreciate, and that's had really good engagement, and which is, I think, for me, helped kind of give me encouragement that there's value to it because people are watching it and commenting and sharing and all those things. But
Jan and I, we're older. We don't have family at home anymore, but we don't want to sit and watch some of the stuff that's available online or on TV. But this sounds like the kind of thing that, let's watch one of these tonight.
Yeah, I hope so. Like that's kind of what we're going for is something that you can tune into and be surprised about when you watch it, not something that you tune into and that you're bored.
It's a little bit like, I suppose, reading a video book.
Yeah.
Because she listens to audiobooks and I do too, but it's kind of like a video book. It's a story about somebody.
Yeah.
Or something.
I think like I've tried to explain it to people and I think it's hard. I think like you'd be like, think of like entertainment for Nebraska. And I don't think those words really like, I don't think local entertainment like goes together. I think that when you think, what does that mean? Like somebody's going to talk about their business or it's going to be really boring, but these are really like, they're really entertaining and fun to watch.
I think of it as just a book of short stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of short stories and they're informative and we try like when we talk to people, when we get to know them, we always want to learn something from somebody that we're filming, like something, like I want to come away like filming Lindsay at Paper Moon Pastries. She said so many things that I was able to then apply to my own life. Like, man, that's like, I really liked that. And so I'm always like gaining insights from these people. I mean, we filmed Clyde Johnson, which is a professional boxer. And man, he had like some mental strength that just like, I'm like, man, that's really impressive that you can like have, I don't know, be that strong mentally and physically. But
well, you said you'd done something recently I think at O'Neill.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, the Handle Bin guys, they make copper mugs, and they were kind of a part of our like How It's Made series. But they're really just like when you think of a good business, like a staple in a community, they are that there. I mean, they have in their basement of their building, they have a practice, facility for like the kids to come play baseball in there. They're like very community driven, and I just like.
What's the name of it again?
Handle Bin.
The Handle Bin.
Handle Bin copper mugs, yeah.
Like HANDLEBIN?
Handle bend. Yeah, because they bend handles.
Oh, bend.
Okay.
Bend.
Okay, handle
bend.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so but they're a small but also like large shop, right? They're not huge. They're small, but they do well, and it was really cool to get in there and get to know them, and but getting out to those places is what we're really trying to do. It just takes time, being in Lincoln. We're kind of just trying to grab the lowest hanging fruit, which is like something that I can do.
By.
Yeah, close by, right? And so.
But where else in Nebraska have you been? You've been to Cortland. You've been to O'Neill.
Yeah.
Any other places?
Yeah. Let's see. We've done a couple of trips with JT with the Corn Belt. JT Martin. I don't know if do you know? Yeah, he's doing really good work in terms of like kind of growing the Nebraska brand and showing these kind of, off the beaten path places to visit. And so we went south somewhere for I can't quite remember the name of it. I should know this. Shoot. But they had what's that? Oh man, I can't.
It's all right. We'll take you off that.
What's the ice game that they like? They throw the balls. I'm so like.
No, I can't think of it either. The big like bowling on ice.
Yeah.
Curling?
What is that called?
Curling competition. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Shoot. And then we went out to Sacramento.
Now wait a minute.
Nebraska,
You just said somebody in Lincoln or in Nebraska makes the curling?
No, they just have an event every year. Just this small town, and it was just fun to go to.
Curling event?
Curling
very
competition.
cool event.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm in a discussion club, and the other night, one of the things we talked about was what's on your bucket list. And one of the guys said, I have a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I want to just go around to small towns in Nebraska and meet people and talk to them about what's unique about your town.
Yeah.
And you should have heard the people around the table talk about interesting things. I said, go to Arthur. There's the Baled Hay Church in Arthur.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can't remember what the others were, but there were several people that, and the what do you call them? Handle benders?
Yeah, handle benders.
I'd like to go see that place. and the curling contest in southern Nebraska and whatever.
I'm going to suggest that they call themselves handle benders. Yeah, at the art.
There you go. That would do that. Do you do some stories that come from outside of Nebraska? I'm just remembering looking at your website and thinking I saw a couple that were maybe even international.
Yeah, we posted a short film that we did out in Africa, in Kenya, and what we're trying to promote is Nebraska made. So if you're a local filmmaker and you make a film and you're Nebraskan, it doesn't really matter to us what that location is, as long as there are connections to Nebraska. That's kind of like the most important thing.
Yeah.
So if there's people that have maybe grew up in Nebraska, now they live somewhere else, that's a good tie for us. It's enough to be on it. So for me, it's just what is the connection back to Nebraska, whether it's produced by somebody here or whatever. So we'll see how that goes as we continue to grow.
I kind of have a sense that you're in this stage of feeling out all that's possible.
That is very true. Yeah.
And do you have a picture in your mind of what this is going to look like 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Or is the picture I'm just going to keep feeling out what's possible?
Yeah, that's a good question. So 5 years from now, whatever direction the network takes, I think that I'll try and follow the best direction. I think that there's some core values to me that I really want to try and hold on to, which is one, we'll definitely, advertising may be an option for us one of these days, but I really don't like that option. I don't want as many sponsorships are important, and you realize that sponsors are huge in the community. They're what makes things go up, honestly, and they're big support. So it's I'm not mad about that, but I don't want our talent and the people that we film to maybe feel like they can't say something because of a sponsor. So whatever the sponsorships come through, we're very clear with the message is the message, and if you want to, sponsor it, that's great. So future, I think I want to figure out a way to do what I love and get paid for it, ultimately, right? I mean, that's telling stories.
Before you retire.
Yeah, right?
That's what
you're doing this because you love doing this, right? I never want to retire from making films and doing what I do. That's so retirement for me looks like not having to worry about getting money for it, right? And so for me, it's I want people's stories to be on the top page featured, whether they have money or they don't have money. So if you do have money, great. We can put you up there. But if you don't have money, also you're up there. And so that's kind of what I see as this, not something that's driven by who has the most money to get to the top of the page, but just I don't know, what are the interesting stories and how can we share them? So,
I hear a really strong value there in people's stories.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that. Has that been a strong value of yours for ever? Or a growing appreciation for people's stories? How did you get there?
I think that for me, being behind the camera, and I talk about this as what I love about what I do, is that when you're behind the camera filming at different locations, you kind of feel like you're a part of that. Mm-hmm. You feel like you're a part of what they're doing.
You're an invisible part.
Yeah, you're an invisible part, but you're like a part of it. And so I just love the experience of that. And if I'm at it's weird because it's like if I'm at a table with somebody and we're talking maybe like ideas and thoughts, let's say we're talking politics, we could argue back and forth about politics all day long, right? But when I'm behind the camera, I just want to listen, and I don't have an agenda or a thought. I just can learn from somebody a little easier. And so I think the one thing that I've learned most is that if somebody is willing to be open and vulnerable on camera, what you can learn from them and the stories are just like endless. Because when people are able to do that, I think about like the people that you look online, you're like, oh man, it'd be fun to be like an influencer. But the only reason that people get there is because they say the things that most people aren't willing to say because, well, it might embarrass my family, it might do this. So when people open up and they're vulnerable, it's really a great experience. And I just want to give people that platform, I think. And how do people respond to that? I mean, when you contact somebody and say, I hear you have a great story. Yeah.
I'd like to make a video about your story.
Yeah.
Are people surprised? Are they willing to say, oh, no, never me on camera?
Yeah.
What's the response?
I don't know. Sometimes there's hesitancy.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are already talking about it, so they're happy to. I think but we also want to be respectful to however they want to tell that. And so we don't push things out without showing people first and giving people the final look. And then if they're like, oh, what do you think about this? We'll give our thoughts and opinions on why it might work or why it doesn't, from an outsider's perspective. But, I think that's the one thing that, having worked in television, I've seen like producers and story producers and these networks like just make people say whatever they want to about them. And it's like, that's not what I said. They just kind of like chop that together. And that's not really what we want to be, So
I want to go down a slightly different avenue here related to what I see you doing. I've been talking to a number of people around the state about what is it about Nebraska that we want people out in the world to know?
Yeah.
And usually it's, we got corn, we got cows and football team and a few things like that. But you're digging into, going back to the handle benders and the curling contest.
Yeah.
You're digging into some interesting smaller stories.
Yeah.
But what they do is they shine a light on people here. And it's people that really make this state great.
Yeah. Well, I think you answered the question.
I kind of did. I kind of did,
but that's
you kind of had a speech to make, Randy.
Yeah. But I mean, that is ultimately it. I think coming back, like when I first moved back, COVID hit, and then I kind of became partners in a production company that was on the East Coast. Mm-hmm. And I hated it. I hated it because I was living in Nebraska and working behind my computer all day and not getting out and actually like being a part of the only thing that I'm here for, which is the people, right? And so it's really, I mean, that's ultimately it. It's I think amplifying what makes this place great, which is just us, you know what I mean? And not doing it in a cheesy way that's like, look at us, like we're just telling stories about us and letting other people see it,
What do you tell people? I mean, you grew up in Texas.
Yeah.
You lived in Colorado. I forget where else you live, but several different places. Yeah. What do you tell people and I think I've answered my own question here, but what do you tell people about Lincoln and about Nebraska?
Yeah.
Why you're here? Other than my wife grew up there, and that's kind of where we're living. But
I grew up in a small town, but near a big city, right? Dallas, right? So kind of had that big city experience growing up there. I moved here, and then some other places, I lived in Prague for a little bit. That was fun. We spent 4 or 5 months in New York City, which was also a really big city. Loved that. I loved the big city. It was fun. Lived in Colorado. The mountains were great. My wife was a travel nurse, and so we also went out to California for a little bit, and that was a really fun experience. So we've kind of got to experience some of these locations, and I think like I remember very specifically like missing Lincoln when I left it. Like after I got engaged with my wife Rachel, I was doing weddings then. I was doing some commercial work, but weddings. And after we got engaged, I was like, oh, like I have to make money, right? I was like, I got to figure this out. So that's when I found the job in Colorado. And so I actually left for Colorado like during our engagement, so that we were going to move out there. But that's when I got the job out there. And I just remember like coming back, and I loved Colorado, but like driving back into Lincoln, you kind of like have this feeling of home. Mm-hmm. And there's really unique things there are really great things about living in big cities, right? One of them is sometimes it's nice to not be seen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's nice to be able to go out in a big city and be like, I'm going to like do this and not have to worry about like somebody, seeing me or what. Not that you're doing bad things. You're just like, you can be a nobody, and there's some nice things about that. But I don't like that long term. And now it's just like, I'm sure you experience this, especially in Lincoln, but now even going to Omaha, it feels like everywhere you go, you see somebody that or their face, and you can like have some kind of conversation, right? Like even just like, not to promote another coffee shop, but on my way to, I went to Vegas just recently, and on my way out there, I was in the in the like shuttle to go to the airport. One of the guys was wearing a Relentless t-shirts, which is they make shirts here in town. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, Relentless shirt, nice. I was like, I know that. So we struck up conversation. He turned out to be the owner of Stories Coffee, and so we just like had a good like conversation. But like just we exchanged numbers and stuff. But like that's Nebraska, that's Lincoln. We just like one stop away from everybody, and I really just love going out because it's such a it kind of fills the need for community for me, which like growing up was the church, and now it's a lot of the community here. So yeah. I don't know.
That's a great Lincoln story.
Yeah.
It is. It's a great Lincoln story.
Yeah. So it's like I'm kind of like if you dig deep with me, I'm kind of one of those guys that likes to joke a lot about how like I hate the weather, right? Like I'm not here for the weather, right?
But stay around for 5 minutes, it'll change.
Yeah, I know, but like it's like humid. Oh, and then I got a tick on me the other day. I'm like, what am I doing here? It's just like go in tall grass once and there's a tick, But I just but again, those aren't the reasons that we're here. Mm-hmm. I think we're here for a bigger reason. So yeah.
I always like to ask a question about if you were mayor.
If I was mayor.
If you were mayor.
That's a dangerous question. Yeah.
What's one thing that you would have it high up on you, maybe not the top, but high up on your agenda that needs to be done in this city?
Oh man, I think the highest thing for me if I was mayor, and I don't even know if mayors have, influence over property taxes. I think that they can. I would put a huge emphasis on trying to lower property taxes. And I don't know the right answer because I know property taxes pay for like schools and things like that. Mm-hmm. But I feel strongly that like if you're say a social worker or a teacher or somebody that doesn't get paid a lot, but maybe you inherited a nice home, from your family or something, you couldn't just with our current property tax system, you couldn't afford to stay there, And so it kind of like I feel like. Oh, that's really, I don't know. Again, I don't have answers because I'm not in the shoes of that. But I think like I wish that we could try and figure out a better solution for our property taxes because it's really hard to have, and especially with the cost of homes right now, it's really hard to have like a nice home and be able to afford it, even when you're making money. So anyways, that would be one. Two, I would like, I know that they're putting that downtown park in. That's nice. I'm excited about that park, but I think like parks are a really big thing, especially because I have 3 kids. And, you don't like think about these things until you have kids and you're in it, but like, I don't know. We had a park that they took out all the old stuff, which, the old playgrounds, they were like the best, You know what I mean?
It was like a swing set and a slide.
Yeah, the slide was so high. It was like no rails. And like, it was like, those are the, it was like, but then I don't know. They put in kind of like a dinky park. And I just like, I don't know. I think that we deserve better parks or something. I don't know. This isn't criticism, Mayor, if you're watching this.
Or Maggie.
Nah, I'm not criticizing you. I'm just trying to say what I would do. Because I do think that that's a hard job. And I think that it's a hard spot to be in, to have criticism, but also like value somebody and the work that they do. Because I would never want to be mayor, first of all. So I can have all sorts of opinions on something, on what I want. But I'll talk Dan and I about property taxes for sure.
The final question I always like to ask that Marilyn's already told you I'm going to ask. What have we not asked you that you wanted to.
Oh man, are we to that
today.
point already?
Yeah,
Oh goodness! Wait, how much time has it been?
A while.
Has it been a while already?
been a while.
Half an hour. It goes by fast when
Yeah,
you're
it does.
just talking. I don't think so. I think like it's. Thank you for having me on here. It's always fun to get together.
Well, you hadn't talked about. You said 3 kids.
Three. Yeah, I have 3 kids. Yeah, 3 children.
Tell us about
7 and under. They're great. They change your life forever. You know, when you have kids, they're little. They're crazy. But our first one was, an accident. But then we're like, well, here we are. So, just continued on, right? Yeah, having kids. We were living in Denver when we had our first kid, which is, I feel like, not an unusual story, right? To like go out, to leave, and then to come back because you have your roots and your family, and you want a place that's
really true.
Yeah,
you need grandparents. It's helpful to have grandparents close by.
It's very helpful, and it's nice to have smaller neighborhoods, and so we've got great neighbors now, and we really love our street. But yeah, having kids just, man, it changes you, and in a good way. I think it gives you just a what is it, like you're always looking for meaning in life, and then you have kids, and then it kind of like, not that kids are your only meaning, but it like gives you it adds a depth to your life where it's like, oh man, I have to like make sure they're alive.
And they're how old?
Yeah, 6 and under, almost
6 and under.
Yeah,
I'm at that
it's a
stage
busy
in
household.
life where I'm having a reward I never anticipated.
Yeah,
all 3 of my sons are grandparents, and watching them be grandparents, rolling around on the floor with their grandchildren is kind of special.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing, and so I love having kids, family, and being here. It's all fun.
Well, Andy, thank you so very much. I appreciate the chance to get to know you better.
I think Lincoln's really fortunate that you and Rachel decided to bring your children back to Lincoln and start telling Nebraska stories, because there are lots of them, and it's good to have them out there.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Common Grounds, conversations from the roasting room at the Coffee Roaster in Lincoln, Nebraska. These conversations are designed to help us better understand the people who share this place and the stories that shape it. If something you heard today stayed with you, we invite you to keep the conversation going. Share the episode. Sit down with someone and talk. Thanks for being part of Common Grounds. We'll see you next time.